Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Romans 13. I shouldn't be able to get in trouble for copyright if I'm showing my own content. I guess I'm not really showing my own content. Um, so I was just going to take a brief look at this thing that I put up not too long ago. It's this Connor hidden blade system that I'm working on and I'm looking into. So I'm crazy about hidden blade technology. I always have been since I was a kid. When I was a kid, though, I was hella Christian, still hella Christian, but really into pacifism, and I didn't believe in hurting people. So I had this idea that I wanted to make weapon systems that didn't involve hurting people, other than a couple breaching devices that were meant to like smash windows so like SWAT team could go in. I had a thing for Rainbow Six when I was younger, and Call of Duty, and Medal of Honor. So I don't know. Total weapons nerd my whole life. It's just a part of everything. I've always been studying the system though with the hidden blade, and after being exposed to Matei, Tribe 13, Libre Knife Fighting, ℜ𝔬𝔪𝔞𝔫'𝔰, Byron Rogers, Scallywag Tactical, Sneak Reaper Industries, Jason Hansen, Melissa Backwoods. There's so many different knife people. Greg Tambone at Bone Tactical, Wingard Wearables. Everybody has this sneaky clandestine system, even CIA stuff. Everybody has sneaky clandestine systems, and they are very, very, very good. I want to go take a look at this with you guys. Come with me, and you'll see a world of pure imagination. Yeah, we're going to keep this in the original positions. So this is the Connor blade system. You'll notice that it's missing parts intentionally. What I had done was I took the blade and I cut it down to about here, maybe a little bit more. All right. After that case, I put the rail on. This pin right here, not the flap in front of it, but this pin right here holds the rail to the device right there, so that, oh, I'm sorry, right here, so that when this guy goes forward, this little pin catches. There's like a little 90-degree there, little box. It catches right there and stops. And then this flapper obviously connects with some rubber bands, and it keeps this guy in the closed position. So what I did was I took the blade. I wonder if I can rotate this. Rotate it upside down. And essentially we did something like this. Right freaking... How hard is it to go 180 degrees on something, dude? Seriously, it's ridiculous. Okay, that should be good. Wow, everything's being retarded right now. 180. Rotate. Okay, straight up and down. So we had the blade, and the idea is that it's in the downward position, hanging a little bit over, and then when the whole system comes out, the blade can then rotate, and that's what I showcased. So cutting this down, you're able to glue a steak knife to this, and then you have to attach this to this somehow. And this little pin goes down here in the back. So I think somewhere up in here where this little channel is, that's where I connected it. I think I used a super glue lid and like cut it down and ran a thumbtack through it because the thumbtack was thin enough to fit into the blade material. When I noticed that it would pivot freely and rotate, I pinched the material together on this plastic because it's really flimsy. It was able to go around that thumbtack head and give me a swivel. I cut the blade in half after that, attached a steak knife to it, and then I had my little Connor rail. That was outstanding. So now the tricky part that I have, because I'm not an engineer and I'm not super cool and I'm not super smart, and I wish that I was, like everybody else is. I'm just your normal run-of-the-mill guy that's interested in self-defense and improvised weapons, and I want to simplify designs for everybody. Everybody has a different flavor of awesome. There's people out there making stuff in China that's so cool you would poop your pants if you've seen it. I know I do. Like I freak out over some of the engineering that I see. It's like Chinese versions of ℜ𝔬𝔪𝔞𝔫'𝔰 all over the world. There are some cool hidden blade people. Really, really cool hidden blade, people. I share it in the community all the time. So what I want to do is essentially take this flimsy piece of plastic here, um, but I got to make it detachable. Now, that's interesting because this system right here where this little choil is, or a little hole is, this was meant to go on another piece of plastic. It always snaps off, but it was meant to fit on here to be detachable. So that there was a system for that. Having it locked down in place though, I was able to rotate the device, spin it around, and with my steak knife, you can see it in the video, keep it from it locks so you can stab with it. But if you rotate it the wrong way, then things get kind of weird. I might have to come up with a locking mechanism for that. I'm going to get really, really close to the design. So what I did was I put a video up, and or I put a G code up, not an STL, a G code. That means it's ready to go. You download it from Google Drive. You put it into your 3D printer. I think I already have a numeric number on it so that it prints right away, so you don't have to rename it or anything. You put that right into your little flash drive, plug that into your printer. Booyah, you should be ready to print off these parts. I left the flappers out. They're out here floating on purpose because you don't need them. But this is the front locking mechanism up here, this little flap. Um, not the little flappers, but this flap right here. That's the front locking mechanism. You need that. You need this pin. It's essential to lock down this guy. I think it goes like right here. And it shears off when you're using enough force. That goes through, and this little pin, you can see that's just plastic. It shears right off. So what I want to do is run a screw through it, or in this channel that it runs in, cut that out with a box cutter, and then run a bolt system through. And then on the underside, what I'm thinking is, we'll just have this here, put something like a piece of a plastic container, rectangular plastic container, so that can fit against my forearm. I did it with my throwing knife hidden blade model for a thumbtack to slide freely so it wouldn't cut it all. And what that'll do is allow the bolt head to move without getting caught on your arm or being uncomfortable or anything. And the case that I was using for that was like I think it was like an Acne kit or something stupid, some kind of really long rectangular box. And I just snapped it in half, and it fit on the back of my rail system for that thumbtack. So that'll work really, really good for this device, especially if I'm planning on cutting into it with a box cutter and clearing out this channel. So imagine a hole going down the center of this guy. I don't have STL software where I can work on this in CAD or anything. This is the closest that I'll get to CAD with the Build B system, where I can look at the parts that were already made. So I don't have any way to take this and work on it. Another thing that's a pain in the butt, if you guys do try to print this off, is down here at the bottom, at the front of the device, there's like these little side skirts. You can see them sticking out like little forks there. Those tend to shear off all the way down the device. I had to glue those down really, really good because they kept snapping off and twisting and warping and morphing, especially when I was trying to clean all the plastic out of it, which is essential when you're doing 3D printed stuff. This little guy comes out of this rail at crazy speeds with an insane amount of force, and the sides tend to fail if it gets any pressure exerted on it at all. So got to be really careful with that because it is plastic. It's all junk. So ideally, we'd all love to have a 3D metal printer, and then we could play around with this stuff. But this is what we got, so we got to make do. Now, I do see a lot of these different people putting out a bunch of hidden blade stuff. They're doing OTFs, and they got crazy gear systems and springs. The OTF mechanism is fascinating, but 3D printed material is not as strong as you think it is. It's cheap, flimsy comb plastic. Look at your comb, your plastic barber comb. That's what you're getting. That's the quality that you're getting. I don't even understand how people are able to print firearms with this. They must be using like super PLAs. Anyway, good for them. I just wanted to talk to you guys about this, and I got this up in the video where I'm showing the thing with the steak knife. The only thing I did different was I put a couple pieces of metal and a couple magnets and a doggy bag container with a neodymium magnet on it to hold that steak knife in place. I could mod that rail, but I got to cut it up and I kind of don't want to. So I think I'll just print off another one and start working on that. Anyway, thanks guys. Always remember you are the last resistance to the captive state.